Part 1. The Abyssal Voyage. Space is supposed to be silent, but out here, in the depths of the Sargasso expanse, silence takes on an entirely different meaning. It's not just the absence of sound, it's the heavy void pressing in on all sides. It's the palpable reminder that you're a tiny speck on a fragile ship, adrift in an infinite sea of darkness. The Oblivion's embrace groaned as we cut through this empty black. She was an old freighter, barely holding herself together with patches and prayers. Rumour had it, she was haunted by the ghosts of a crew long past. But I didn't buy into those stories. Of course, that's what I told myself as I sat in the dim glow of the cockpit, trying not to think about the way the shadows seemed to flicker in the corners of my vision. "Captain, the anomaly is dead ahead." It was Kira, our resident tech genius, with a penchant for sarcasm sharper than a laser scalpel. "Great," I muttered, adjusting the controls. "Let's hope it's not another wild goose chase." The anomaly had appeared on long-range sensors 3 days ago, a strange energy signature that defied all logical explanation. Naturally, we'd been sent to investigate, because apparently no sane person would go near it. I like to think of myself as reckless, but not insane. The line was thin, but important. "Just think of it as a free vacation," Kira added, smirking. "An all-expenses-paid trip to nowhere." I chuckled despite myself. "Yeah, well, if you see any beaches, let me know." Our ship was a motley crew's dream, or nightmare, depending on your perspective. Kira's dry humour kept things interesting, and then there was Eli, our mechanic, with arms like hydraulic pistons and a heart just as cold. He had a fondness for welding torches and a deep disdain for authority. On the bridge, he was trying to coax the engines into compliance with a mixture of threats and gentle persuasion. And then there was me, Luke Talon, captain by both misfortune and stubbornness. I never wanted to lead a crew through the most dangerous parts of the galaxy, but here I was, nonetheless. The anomaly loomed closer, a swirling vortex of colour and light. It danced like auroras on a frozen world, utterly mesmerizing. But beauty in space often masked danger. As we approached, I felt an unnatural pull, as if the anomaly had a voice, whispering promises of secrets long forgotten. I shook it off. Getting sentimental in space was a luxury I couldn't afford. Eli's voice crackled over the comms. "You want we should poke it with something, Captain?" "Not yet," I replied. "Let's see what it does if we just sit pretty." The anomaly shimmered, its colours flaring and then dimming. Through some unspoken consent, we all held our breath. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Panels flickered as if a giant hand was shaking us. "On your toes," I shouted, my heart racing. "Eli, keep us from falling apart." The ship bucked like a wild beast, the shaking growing more violent. I fought the controls, teeth gritted. Ahead, the vortex opened up, revealing what looked like a massive alien structure swallowed by the anomaly, an unfathomable construct lost in time and space. Cap'n." Eli's voice came through, uncharacteristically uncertain. "This doesn't look friendly." "You're telling me," I replied. "But we don't get paid to run, do we?" Through a combination of luck and sheer stubbornness, we managed to hold our course, entering the anomaly's maw. The sensation was unlike anything I'd ever felt, a jolt that resonated in my bones as if pulled through reality by unseen forces. Moments later, we emerged into a vast, shadowy chamber. An alien megastructure stretched around us, suspended in the void. It was a labyrinth of metal and unknown materials, illuminated by a ghostly blue glow. "Welcome to the biggest mystery you'll never solve," Kira said, her voice tinged with awe. "Don't quote me just yet," I said, eyes scanning the impossible architecture. We disembarked cautiously, stepping onto a platform made of interlocking plates that resonated faintly underfoot. The air was filled with a strange hum, like the ship itself was alive. "Keep sharp," I warned. "This place could be crawling with." A shrill alien warble cut through the air, and I reached instinctively for my blaster. Out of the shadows emerged creatures unlike anything we'd encountered. They were tall, with limbs that ended in delicate claws, bodies covered in iridescent scales that shimmered with the building's glow. Their faces had no features, just smooth expanses of glistening black. "Aliens," Eli said unnecessarily, stating the obvious with his customary flair. One of the creatures stepped forward, raising a hand, not in threat, but in greeting. It emitted a series of clicks and whirs, a language ancient and complex. Bizarrely enough, I found myself understanding. It was an invitation, a request to follow. "Well, this just got interesting," Kira said, glancing at me. "Think we should?" "Do we really have a choice?" I asked, as the creature turned and glided away, beckoning us to follow. Our exploration took us deeper into the megastructure, past rooms filled with unfathomable technology, over bridges that spanned bottomless chasms. The air thrummed with energy, and my skin tingled in its presence. Eventually, we reached a vast chamber lined with crystalline panels, each glowing with shifting images, a record of alien history, a chronicle of their rise and fall. The creatures moved around us, figures in a silent tableau. It wasn't until one panel caught my eye, an image of a star dissolving into a black hole, consuming worlds as it expanded, that I understood the true nature of the anomaly. "This place, it's a tomb," I realized aloud. A warning about their own demise. Kira nodded, her eyes wide. "And we're intruding on it." As if in response to our presence, the chamber began to shudder. The creatures backed away, understanding what we couldn't, that the anomaly's energy was restoring itself, preparing to consume everything within it. "Eli, get us back to the ship," I commanded, urgency in my voice. "Now!" We sprinted back through the corridors, the structure groaning around us like a waking giant. I could feel the pull of the anomaly's gravity increasing, a relentless force yanking us toward Oblivion. We barely made it aboard before the structure began to collapse. I slammed the controls into overdrive, the Oblivion's embrace roaring to life. "Hold on," I shouted, as we blasted free of the collapsing megastructure. The ship jolted, shuddering violently as we broke through the anomaly's grip. When we finally emerged on the other side, space was once again vast and silent. We had survived by the skin of our teeth, but the mystery of the alien tomb lingered in my mind, a puzzle with pieces scattered across the cosmos. Kira leaned back, her face a mix of relief and exasperation. "Next time, let's just stick to scavenging wrecks, huh?" Eli nodded in agreement. "Yeah, less existential dread." I laughed, shaking my head. "You two are impossible, but hey, we live to see another day." As we set our course for home, I knew we'd only scratched the surface of the mysteries waiting out there. But for now, we had stories to tell and half a galaxy to get lost in. Little did I know, this was only the beginning. Part 2. Echoes in the Void. The cosmos stretched before us, an endless tapestry woven with stars and secrets. As we left the anomaly behind, I couldn't shake the feeling that we'd stumbled upon something far more significant than a derelict alien structure. The thought tugged at the back of my mind as we drifted through the dark, the Oblivion's embrace nursing her wounds. Kira was back at her console, fingers dancing over holographic displays. her brow furrowed with an intensity I knew better than to interrupt. Meanwhile, Eli had taken to the engine bay, muttering sweet nothings to the ship's heart in hopes of coaxing her back into full strength. "Luke," Kira's voice broke the silence, pulling me from my thoughts. "I've been going over the data we gathered. There's something you need to see." I moved to her side, peering at the swirling patterns of light and data she had conjured. It was the energy signature of the anomaly, but there was something else, something new. "What am I looking at?" I asked, trying to make sense of the patterns. "This," she pointed at a cluster of signals, "doesn't match anything we've encountered. It's like a beacon." A chill ran down my spine. "Are you saying someone, or something, is trying to communicate?" Kira nodded, her eyes alight with curiosity. "Or maybe they're just waiting for the right moment to open the door." It was both thrilling and terrifying. The universe had just thrown another curveball, and curiosity, as always, was leading the charge. I knew we had no choice but to follow this lead, wherever it might take us. As we prepared to chase the beacon's signal, Eli clambered up from the engine bay, looking a little worse for wear and smelling like burnt circuits. "Engines are patched, but I wouldn't push her too hard," he grunted, wiping his hands on his overalls. "Noted," I replied, steering us into the endless depths. "We've got a new heading." The beacon led us into the heart of a nebula, a swirling mass of gas and dust that glowed in vibrant hues of violet and crimson. It was like flying through an abstract painting, colors shifting and pulsating like a living organism. But amidst the beauty lurked danger, the nebula's turbulence threatening to tear us apart. "Is it me? Or does this place have a thing for roughing us up?" Eli quipped, gripping the console as the ship lurched. "Just consider it our usual luck," I replied, a smirk playing on my lips. "Hang tight." We pressed on, navigating through the swirling chaos until the beacon's signal drew us to its heart. There, drifting silently, was a colossal ship, its design unlike any I had seen. It was sleek, almost organic in its curvature, with a hull that shimmered like liquid metal. "That's no freighter," Kira whispered, awestruck. "No," I agreed, "it's something else entirely." We docked cautiously, the airlock opening with a hiss. As we stepped aboard, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The corridors were wide, illuminated by an ethereal light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. The air was tinged with a scent that was alien, yet strangely familiar. "Feels like we've walked into a dream," Eli mused, eyes wide. Our exploration revealed chamber after chamber of advanced technology, each room a marvel of unknown purpose. It wasn't until we reached what appeared to be the bridge that the ship's secrets began to unfold. A holographic interface flickered to life as we entered, displaying a swirling map of the galaxy. But it was the center of the map that drew our focus. A representation of the anomaly, pulsing with energy. "It's a gateway," Kira breathed, eyes wide with realization. "These ships, they're travelers." "Traveling where?" I asked, though the answer gnawed at me. "Not where," she corrected. "When?" The enormity of it was staggering. We weren't just looking at an alien ship. We were standing on a vessel capable of traversing time. The implications spun through my mind like a whirlwind, but before we could delve deeper, the ship's systems hummed to life, and a voice echoed through the chamber, calm yet commanding. "Intruders detected. State your intentions." We froze, exchanging glances. The voice was synthesized, devoid of emotion, yet it held an authority that was undeniable. "We mean no harm," I replied, choosing my words carefully. "We're explorers, like you." The interface flickered, processing my response. "Explorers seek knowledge," it stated simply. "Knowledge has a cost." "What's the price?" I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted the answer. The panels shimmered, and images filled the space around us, timelines unfolding, futures and pasts colliding. It was overwhelming, a sensory overload that left us breathless. "The cost is choice," the voice intoned. "To change the course of a single moment is to alter destiny itself." The gravity of its words sank in. We had stumbled upon something greater than ourselves, a power that could reshape history. But with that power came a responsibility I wasn't sure we were ready to bear. "Luke," Kira whispered, her voice a mixture of excitement and fear. "We need to be careful." I nodded, my mind racing. This ship, this technology, it was beyond anything humanity had dreamed of. But the risks, they loomed large. "We need to leave," I decided, the weight of the unknown pressing down on me. "We can't open this door." As we made our way back to the Oblivion's embrace, I couldn't shake the feeling that the universe was watching, waiting for our next move. The ship powered down, the holograms fading into silence. But the echoes of what we'd seen lingered, a reminder that we were but players in a cosmic dance of cause and effect. Eli clapped a hand on my shoulder as we reached the airlock. "Well, that was a thing," he said, a grin breaking the tension. "Yeah," I agreed, though my mind was still spinning. "Let's get out of here." As we left the nebula behind, I knew our journey was far from over. The galaxy held its breath, the future unwritten, and amidst the stars, new echoes began to stir. Part 3. The Shattered Sky. The nebula receded into the void behind us, its secrets left to slumber once more. But my mind was a storm, thoughts sparking like rogue comets as I considered the implications of what we'd unearthed. A ship that traversed time. It was the stuff of legends and nightmares alike. "Where to now, fearless leader?" Kira's voice was light, but I sensed the undercurrent of tension beneath her words. The discovery had rattled us all in different ways. "We need intel," I replied, setting our course for the nearest hub of civilization. "And I know just the place." Our destination was Concordia Station, a sprawling orbital outpost that served as a crossroads for travelers from every corner of the galaxy. It was a place of neutrality, of whispered deals and shadowy exchanges. If anyone had information on ancient alien technology, it would be found there. As we slipped into orbit, the station's lights winked like a constellation of their own, guiding us to a berth amidst its towering spires. We docked smoothly, stepping onto the bustling concourse, where scents of exotic foods mingled with the acrid tang of engine grease. "Remember," I said, glancing at my crew, "we're just here for information. Keep a low profile." "Low profile. Got it," Eli grinned, his version of low profile, usually involving more than a few bruises. We made our way through the throngs, weaving through merchants hawking their wares and travelers swapping stories over steaming drinks. The cantina was our first stop. It was a dimly lit refuge, a cacophony of laughter and conversation. The perfect place for digging up dirt. I approached the bar, nodding to the bartender, a wiry Tharnian with a face like a thundercloud. "Looking for someone in the know," I said, sliding a credit chip across the counter. His eyes flicked to the chip, then back to me. Depends on the topic. Ancient tech, I replied, choosing my words carefully. The kind that doesn't show up on public records. He studied me for a long moment, then pocketed the chip with a grunt. Back room, 5th table, ask for Taj. A nod, and we were moving, threading through the crowd to a secluded area where the din of the cantina was reduced to a murmur. The table was occupied by a solitary figure, clad in a hood that left their features in shadow. You seek knowledge, the figure said, voice smooth as silk. But knowledge is a river, and not all can swim. Taj, I presume, Kira cut in, unimpressed by the theatrics. The figure laughed softly, a sound like wind through reeds. Indeed, and you must be the travellers who stirred the cosmic waters. My heart skipped. Whoever Taj was, they knew more than they let on. We're looking for answers about the anomaly and the ship within. Taj leaned forward, and I glimpsed eyes that shimmered like liquid gold beneath the hood. The ship you encountered is a remnant of the Levante, an ancient race long vanished. Guardians of time, they were, protectors of its flow. The words hung in the air like smoke. And the beacon? I asked. Is it theirs? A call, yes. Taj confirmed. But not only theirs. Others have heard it. Some who wish to control it. The implications hit me like a cold wave. We weren't the only ones seeking this knowledge. The stakes had just been raised, and the game was far more dangerous than I'd imagined. Who else? Eli asked, fists curling like a boxer ready to strike. Taj's smile was enigmatic. Seek the shattered sky, and you will find your answers. But be warned, the path is fraught with deception. With that cryptic advice, Taj rose and vanished into the shadows, leaving us with more questions than answers. The shattered sky, it was a name that carried weight and mystery, one I'd only heard whispered in hushed tones. Looks like we're not done yet, Kira said, echoing my thoughts. No, I agreed, but at least now we know where to look. As we returned to the Oblivion's embrace, I felt the weight of our mission settle on my shoulders. The universe was a vast and unpredictable place, and we were caught in its web of intrigue. The coordinates for the shattered sky were locked in, and as we broke free of Concordia's orbit, the void stretched before us once more. Somewhere out there lay the answers and the dangers we'd been seeking. Ready for another adventure? I asked my crew, a smile tugging at my lips despite the uncertainty. Kira rolled her eyes, but her smile was genuine. Do we have a choice? Eli chuckled, strapping in for the journey ahead. Adventure or apocalypse, we've got front row seats. With a hum of engines and a leap into the unknown, we were on our way, chasing the echoes of a shattered sky. Part 4. The Breath of Stars. The journey to the shattered sky felt like traversing the strands of a long-forgotten melody, each note a star, each pause a breath of the cosmos itself. The Oblivion's embrace cut through the void with a determination that matched my own, engines thrumming with the promise of adventure. Kira was engrossed in the ship's systems, her fingers a blur over the controls. I've pulled up everything we have on the shattered sky, she said, eyes never leaving the displays. It's sparse. That's an understatement, Eli muttered, tinkering with a panel that whispered static like a restless ghost. Sounds more like a myth than a place. But myths have a way of becoming real when you're least prepared, and this one was no exception. We were following a trail of breadcrumbs scattered across the universe, each hint more elusive than the last. And though skepticism gnawed at the edges of my resolve, there was a part of me, an adventurer's heart, that knew there was truth to be found. As we neared the coordinates, the void gave way to a celestial panorama. The shattered sky was aptly named, a once grand nebula torn asunder by cataclysmic forces, its remnants casting eerie shadows against the backdrop of stars. It was breathtaking and haunting all at once, a testament to the universe's capacity for creation and destruction. "Looks like a graveyard," Kira observed, awe and apprehension mingling in her voice. "Yeah," I agreed, "but graveyards tend to have stories to tell." We navigated the ruins, the ship skirting debris that floated like echoes of an ancient calamity. It wasn't long before the sensors pinged, highlighting a structure nestled within the nebula's heart, an outpost or a station, its purpose long obscured by time. "Found our destination," I announced, adjusting our course. "Let's see what secrets it holds." We docked with the station, the airlock opening to reveal a corridor lined with panels that flickered like dying stars. The air was heavy, charged with an energy that vibrated just beneath the surface. It felt as if the walls themselves were breathing, exhaling memories of a past we could only glimpse. "Stay close," I cautioned, leading the way into the unknown. The station was a labyrinth, its halls winding and intersecting like a web spun by a capricious spider. As we explored deeper, we discovered remnants of technology that whispered of a forgotten era, consoles that hummed softly, doors that opened with a sigh, as if welcoming us into the folds of their secrets. "Feels like we're trespassing," Eli remarked, a hint of reverence in his tone. "Maybe we are," Kira replied, tracing a finger along a panel etched with alien script. But this place wasn't abandoned by choice. Something happened here. We reached a central chamber, its ceiling a dome of shattered glass that revealed the swirling nebula beyond. At its center stood a console, its lights flickering in a lazy dance. It was here, I felt, that we would find answers. "Let's get to work," I said, determination stealing my voice. As we interfaced with the console, data poured forth. Streams of information woven into a tapestry of history. The station had been a hub for those who sought to harness the anomaly's power, a nexus of experimentation and ambition. But something had gone wrong, and the consequences had been catastrophic. "Self-destruction," Kira murmured, piecing together the fragments. "They tried to manipulate time too far, and it backfired." The revelation sent shivers down my spine. We were on the precipice of a similar path, our curiosity a double-edged sword. But amidst the data, another signal caught my attention. A distress call, faint and repeating, originating from somewhere deeper within the station. "Someone's still here," I said, the realization sinking in. Or at least, they were. The call led us to an isolated wing, its corridors dark and foreboding. As we followed the signal, the air grew colder, each breath crystallizing in the chill. It was as if the station itself were holding its breath, awaiting our discovery. We found the source in a small chamber filled with stasis pods, their glass surfaces frosted with time. In one pod lay a figure, humanoid but unmistakably alien, its skin a deep indigo, eyes closed in perpetual slumber. "Is it alive?" Eli asked, voice hushed with wonder. "The pod systems are operational," Kira replied, studying the controls. "They're in suspended animation." I reached out, resting a hand on the glass. This being held the key to unlocking the station's mysteries, perhaps even the anomaly itself. But reviving them meant risking their wrath, or worse, their despair at a world changed beyond recognition. We have to try, I decided, the weight of the choice settling on my shoulders. If there's a chance they can help us understand, we owe it to them and ourselves. With Kira's guidance, we initiated the revival sequence. The pod hummed to life, releasing its occupant from the hold of time. As their eyes fluttered open, I felt the universe shift, the path ahead paved with uncertainty and promise. "Welcome back," I said, offering a tentative smile. "We've got a lot to talk about." The alien met my gaze, their expression a blend of confusion and curiosity. In that moment, I knew our journey had taken a new turn, a step into the unknown, guided by the breath of stars. Part 5. Awakening Eclipse. The alien's gaze pierced through the haze of time, locking onto mine with a depth that spoke of ancient wisdom and untold stories. Their presence was a juxtaposition of serenity and storm, a living echo of a civilization long thought lost to the cosmic tides. "Can you understand us?" I asked, hoping that whatever universal truths we shared would bridge the language gap. Their eyes flicked to the console, then back to me, as if weighing the intent behind my words. Slowly, they nodded, a gesture both simple and profound. "Good," Kira said, relief evident in her voice. "We're travelers. We found your station and thought you might need help." The alien tilted their head, an expression of both curiosity and caution. They placed a hand on the console, causing symbols to dance across its surface with a fluid grace. It was a language of light and shadow, a silent dialogue that spoke volumes. "Their name," Kira translated, her voice edged with excitement, "is Zephyrus." Zephyrus. The name hung in the air, resonant and full of promise. I could sense a connection forming, a fragile bridge between worlds. Zephyrus gestured toward the console, and a series of images flickered into existence, scenes of their people, once vibrant and thriving, now reduced to echoes. It was a tale of ambition and hubris, of time unraveled by those who sought to master it. But there was also hope, woven into the fabric of their story, like threads of starlight. They were searching for a way to preserve their knowledge, Kira interpreted, eyes wide with understanding, to ensure their mistakes weren't repeated. The enormity of their mission was humbling. We were standing on the brink of history, witnesses to a legacy that had the potential to redefine our understanding of the universe. "Zephyrus," I said, meeting their gaze once more, "we have so much to learn from you. Can you help us understand the anomaly, and what role it plays in all this?" Zephyrus nodded again, their fingers dancing over the controls. The station thrummed with energy, and the chamber transformed into a planetarium, projections of stars and anomalies swirling around us. At the center was the Nexus, the anomaly we'd encountered, pulsating with the rhythm of cosmic harmony. "It's a point of convergence," Kira translated, her voice filled with wonder, "where timelines intersect and futures are forged." Zephyrus pointed to the anomaly, then to us, their intent clear. The anomaly was a crucible, a forge where choices became reality, and destinies were shaped by the hands of those who dared. It was both an opportunity and a warning, a beacon of potential and peril. Eli let out a low whistle, the enormity of the situation sinking in. "So, it's like a cosmic roulette wheel. Spin it, and you could change everything." "Or nothing at all," I added, the uncertainty of it all echoing in my mind. We have to be careful, or we risk repeating the same mistakes. But just as the path seemed to clear, the station shuddered, lights flickering ominously. An alarm blared, a harsh reminder that time was not on our side. "What's happening?" I asked, urgency spiking through my veins. Zephyrus's expression was grave, their hands moving swiftly to stabilize the systems. Through Kira's translation, we learned that the station's integrity was compromised, the years of neglect and isolation taking their toll. "We need to get out of here," Kira urged, her voice taut with tension. "If this place goes, we go with it." I nodded, already calculating our escape. "Zephyrus, can you come with us? We can't leave you here." For a moment, they hesitated, eyes scanning the chamber as if saying farewell to a world now fading into memory. Then, with a resolute nod, they joined us, abandoning the remnants of their past for the uncertainty of the future. We raced back through the corridors, the station groaning around us like a wounded beast. With every step, the stakes grew higher, the spectre of collapse looming ever closer. We reached the Oblivion's embrace, just as the first tremors began to escalate. Eli was already prepping for launch, the engines roaring to life with a defiant growl. "Hold on tight," I called, sealing the airlock behind us. "This is gonna be close!" With a lurch, the ship peeled away from the station, propulsion kicking us clear of the crumbling structure. We watched from the viewport as the shattered sky swallowed its own secrets, the station imploding with a silent fury. In the aftermath, silence reigned once more, the nebula a ghostly backdrop to our escape. As I turned to Zephyrus, I saw a glimmer of hope in their eyes, a testament to the resilience of life and the bonds we forge in the unlikeliest of places. "We're not done yet," I said, determination rekindling as we plotted a course for the unknown. "There's a whole universe out there waiting for us." Kira smiled, her confidence contagious. "And we've got just the crew to tackle it." With Zephyrus by our side, the journey was far from over. The anomaly awaited, a beacon of mystery and possibility, and as we sailed into the depths of night, I knew that our tale was only beginning, a story woven into the very fabric of the stars. Part 6. The Light of Forgotten Stars. As the Oblivion's embrace slipped through the tapestry of the cosmos, guided by starlight and intuition, I found myself in quiet contemplation. Zephyrus stood beside me on the bridge, their presence a gentle reminder that we were traversing more than just space. We were crossing the thresholds of time and understanding. Kira was deep in conversation with Zephyrus, their gestures animated as they exchanged knowledge through a blend of translation and shared curiosity. Eli was in the engine bay, his humming a familiar counterpoint to the ship's rhythmic pulse. For the first time, in what felt like ages, a sense of calm settled over us, a lull before the next chapter of our journey unfolded. The anomaly loomed in our thoughts, a nexus of potential paths and profound consequences. But before we could face that unknown, we had an unexpected detour. An alert pinged across the console, a distress signal crackling through the static like a whisper seeking salvation. Its coordinates pointed toward a distant star system, one that had been marked as unremarkable in every chart I'd seen. "Another one?" Eli's voice came over the comms, tinged with an equal mix of wariness and intrigue. "What is it this time?" "Looks like someone's in trouble," Kira replied, studying the readout. "The signal's automated, but it's old, really old." Zephyrus's gaze met mine, their expression urging us to investigate. It seemed destiny had a penchant for steering us toward forgotten corners of the universe. Let's check it out, I decided, altering our trajectory. If there's a chance we can help, we should. We entered the system cautiously, navigating around a ghostly nebula that shimmered with ethereal hues. The source of the distress call soon became evident, a vessel adrift in space, its hull scored by the passage of countless years. It was an elder of the stars, a ship from a bygone era. As we approached, the details sharpened. The vessel was massive, a relic of ancient design with geometric structures that spoke of a civilization lost to time. Its distress beacon flickered weakly, a last gasp for aid from a world long past. "Does it look like it's breathing?" Kira murmured, eyes wide as she took in the sight. "More like it's resting," Eli quipped, though his awe was palpable, waiting for someone to wake it. We docked with the vessel, stepping into its cavernous interior. The air was cool and still, filled with the scent of ancient metals and forgotten dreams. The corridors were lined with panels that whispered secrets in a language we couldn't decipher. "Keep your eyes open," I advised, though I felt a strange sense of reverence for this silent giant. We made our way to what appeared to be the ship's heart, a chamber filled with consoles and displays that flickered to life as we entered. At the center stood a dais, its surface inscribed with intricate patterns that glowed with an inner light. As I stepped closer, a hologram flared into being above the dais, depicting a star's life cycle in a dance both beautiful and melancholy. It was a testament to creation and decay, an echo of the universe's endless cycles. "It's a library," Kira breathed, understanding dawning, a record of their history encoded in light. But there was more. As we watched, the hologram shifted, revealing a figure enveloped in celestial radiance, a guardian of these lost stories, their form both familiar and alien. Zephyrus stepped forward, their eyes reflecting the holographic light. It was a moment of kinship, a bond forged across the gulf of time. The Guardian's gaze met theirs, and a connection sizzled to life, bridging the chasm between understanding and memory. Data spilled forth, a flood of information that surged through the chamber. It was a tale of resilience, of civilizations that had risen and fallen, their legacies entwined with the fabric of the stars. Among them was the story of the anomaly, described as a crucible of possibilities, a beacon for those who dared to dream beyond the confines of the known. "This is what we've been searching for," I said, awe threading my voice. The answers were here all along. But as the Guardian's tale unfolded, a shadow loomed over the narrative, a warning of those who sought to harness the anomaly's power for their own ends, heedless of the consequences. It was a cautionary tale, one that mirrored Zephyrus's own history. "We can't let others repeat the same mistakes," Kira said, determination sharpening her words. "We have to protect this knowledge." The chamber resonated with silent agreement, the Guardian's image dissolving into starlight as the ship's systems began to power down. We had what we needed, a roadmap of caution and hope. As we returned to our ship, the ancient vessel seemed to sigh in contentment, its mission fulfilled. We left it drifting in the nebula, a monument to the enduring spirit of those who dared to dream. Back aboard the Oblivion's embrace, Zephyrus joined me on the bridge, their presence a constant reminder of the journey ahead. "We'll make sure their stories aren't forgotten," I promised, setting a course for the anomaly. And we'll protect the future they entrusted to us. With the universe stretching out before us, I felt the stirring of resolve, a light kindled by the stars of a forgotten era. Our path was clear, and our hearts were ready for the trials that lay beyond the horizon. Part 7. The Celestial Forge. The very fabric of space seemed to ripple as we approached the anomaly once more. The Oblivion's embrace, humming in anticipation. Our journey had come full circle, thrusting us once again into the heart of the unknown, a nexus where possibilities sparked like stars in a cosmic forge. Zephyrus stood beside me, a silent sentinel of ancient wisdom. Their presence was a reminder of the gravity of our mission: to understand the anomaly, to protect its secrets, and to prevent its power from falling into the wrong hands. Kira's voice crackled over the comms, her tone a blend of focus and urgency. I've managed to decrypt more of the data. It seems the anomaly isn't just a point of convergence, it's a catalyst. Eli leaned back in his seat, eyes fixed on the swirling mass of energy that loomed ahead. A catalyst for what, exactly? Potential, Kira replied, the weight of her words pressing heavily upon us. For creation, for transformation. It's a crucible where the laws of time and space can be rewritten. I absorbed the information with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The anomaly was a forge of cosmic possibilities, where destinies could be shaped or unraveled by those who dared to wield its power. Zephyrus touched a control on the console, and the display flared to life with a map of the anomaly's intricate structure. Their gesture was a silent invitation, urging us to delve deeper into the heart of the enigma. We navigated through the anomaly's outer layers, the ship's systems adapting to the shifting forces that played across its surface. As we ventured further, the swirling colors coalesced into patterns that pulsed with an ancient rhythm, a heartbeat at the core of the universe. This place is alive, Eli observed, his voice filled with wonder, like a living organism. Or a symphony, Kira mused, her fingers tracing the patterns on the screen. Every note, every beat, aligning in perfect harmony. But harmony was not the only force at play. As we reached the anomaly's core, the ship shuddered, its systems fluctuating in response to an unseen presence. It was as if the anomaly itself were testing us, probing our resolve and intentions. Stay alert, I cautioned, adjusting our trajectory. We're not alone in here. The warning came too late. A flash of light sliced through the void, and a ship emerged from the shadows. Sleek and predatory, its design a twisted mirror of our own. This was no ally, it was a hunter, drawn by the same siren call that had lured us to this place. Incoming, Eli barked, hands flying over the controls. They're targeting us! We veered sharply, the Oblivion's embrace responding with agility born of necessity. Laser fire streaked past, a deadly ballet against the backdrop of the cosmic forge. The hunter pursued with relentless precision, its intentions unmistakable. Who are they? Kira shouted, working to stabilize our systems. Why are they after us? Doesn't matter, I replied, adrenaline sharpening my focus. What matters is we don't let them get their hands on the anomaly. Zephyrus was a calm center in the chaos, their gaze focused on the swirling energy that surrounded us. With a gesture, they activated a sequence on the console, and a resonance swept through the ship, a symphony of light and sound that intertwined with the anomaly's beating heart. The hunter ship faltered, its systems disrupted by the unexpected surge. It wavered in its pursuit, giving us the opening we needed. "Now," I commanded, seizing the opportunity. "Let's use the anomaly's energy to push past." The ship surged forward, propelled by the anomaly's power. We weaved through the currents, the energy a mighty tide that carried us beyond the hunter's reach. In our wake, the anomaly flared with a brilliance that eclipsed the stars. As we emerged on the other side, the hunter ship vanished into the swirling depths, its presence a shadow that lingered in our minds. We had escaped, but the encounter had left its mark, a reminder of the forces that sought to control what they could not comprehend. "We made it," Kira breathed, relief palpable in her voice. "But who were they? And what do they want with the anomaly?" "Answers we'll have to find another day," I replied, the adrenaline ebbing to reveal the enormity of our escape. For now, let's focus on the task at hand. With the anomaly behind us, our course was set for the next phase of our journey. The universe stretched before us, a vast canvas of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. And with Zephyrus by our side, I knew we'd face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and resolve. Together, we would safeguard the secrets of the stars and forge a future worthy of the dreams that had come before.